In her novel, The Golden Mean, Annabel Lyon explores the period from 343 BC when the renowned Greek philosopher Aristotle becomes the tutor of Alexander III of Macedon, later known as Alexander the Great. The book's title refers to a philosophical concept emphasizing the importance of finding a harmonious balance between extremes. Lyon's work earned her a nomination for the prestigious Giller Prize, a notable Canadian literary award. In the year 343 BC, Aristotle, now 41 years old, is summoned by Philip II, the king of Macedon and Aristotle's childhood friend, to educate his two sons. Before this, Aristotle had spent 2 decades as an educator at Plato's academy, but left shortly after Plato's death. Lyon portrays Aristotle as a deeply unhappy individual, characterized by his dry wit and extraordinary intellect, which he often disparages, referring to himself as insignificant. Philip II's sons present contrasting personalities. One son is gentle but faces cognitive challenges, while the other is a brilliant, impulsive, and violent 13-year-old named Alexander III, who would later gain fame as Alexander the Great. Both Aristotle and Alexander grapple with their own unhappiness, though their reasons differ. Aristotle's melancholy arises from a lack of passion, while Alexander stems from an excess of it. Aristotle advises Alexander to seek the golden mean, a state of balance between extremes, as a means to address his inner turmoil. However, Alexander rejects this advice, accusing Aristotle of promoting mediocrity. Throughout the novel, both Aristotle and Alexander exhibit complicated relationships with bodies, be they human or otherwise. Aristotle dispassionately dissects live lizards to study their biological responses, and even engages in clinical observations of his wife Pythias' genitals instead of engaging in intimate relations. The Golden Mean offers a thought-provoking exploration of the intricate dynamics between Aristotle and Alexander, delving into their philosophical clashes and their complex relationships with their own physicality. In contrast to Aristotle's reserved demeanor, Alexander demonstrates his ferocious nature on the battlefield by committing gruesome acts. He mutilates the face of an enemy combatant and casually beheads a corpse for use in a play. As the narrative progresses, Alexander begins to exhibit symptoms of what Aristotle identifies as soldier's heart, a primitive term for post-traumatic stress disorder. However, amidst his brutality, Alexander harbors deep love for his mother, Olympias, and shows affection towards his friends and his horse, displaying emotional maturity that Aristotle lacks. Ironically, Aristotle's clinical approach to the human body makes him seemingly more suited for the horrors of warfare. Yet, he recognizes shared traits with Alexander, such as their sharp intellects, insatiable curiosity, and an understanding of their destinies and historical significance. Aristotle views his role as Alexander's tutor as a means to temper the young boy's sadistic and power-hungry tendencies. As the story unfolds, Aristotle's heart softens, potentially influenced by his interactions with Alexander. This change is evident in his warm interactions with his daughter, Pythias, and his clever servant, Athea. Furthermore, when Philip II, Aristotle's old friend, is assassinated by one of his bodyguards, Aristotle experiences profound grief. In addition to teaching philosophy and temperament, Aristotle advises Alexander on effective leadership. He urges him to treat his subjects with the same care as friends or family, but to approach warring barbarian tribes as mere beasts or plants. Aristotle encourages Alexander to embark on conquests to the east, fostering his ambition. The novel portrays the complex dynamics between Aristotle and Alexander, highlighting their contrasting personalities, their shared qualities, and the impact they have on each other's lives. Alexander's disdain for the Persians of the Middle East exposes a disturbing undercurrent of racism, characterized by Aristotle's detached perspective. Eventually, Aristotle joins Alexander in the midst of war, serving as a medic tasked with removing arrows from wounded soldiers in a tent. However, as Alexander's hunger for conquest intensifies, he gradually neglects the intellectual pursuits that Aristotle had encouraged him to embrace. Their relationship becomes strained, leading Aristotle to return to Athens and establish his own academy, the Lyceum. It is during this period that he produces his enduring works, including Metaphysics and Politics. Meanwhile, Alexander ascends to the throne of Macedonia following Philip's death and successfully conquers Persia and Anatolia, establishing an empire that stretches from the Adriatic Sea to northwest India. He ventures further into India but eventually retreats to regroup. In Babylon, at the age of 32, Alexander succumbs to an unknown illness and passes away. The Golden Mean, according to the Globe and Mail, is deemed a virtuous work, although it is dense and devoid of frivolity. This aligns with what Aristotle himself would likely have intended. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.